Okay, welcome everybody. We are so excited that you're joining us today for Google Sheets, Input Data, Output Success. Lots to share. First, we're going to do some introductions. So again, welcome. My name is Sherry Gick. I am a Director of Professional Learning for Five Star Technology Solutions. And joining me today is...
Hi, everyone. My name is Jenna Langle, and I am a professional development specialist with Five Star Technology Solutions, and I'm super excited to be here with all of you today.
So just a little bit about Five Star. Jenna and I are both certified teachers. My background is in special education, elementary education, library and instructional technology. And Jenna, your background is?
Elementary education, taught for 5 years, kindergarten, second grade, and third grade.
Wonderful. And we are also Google certified trainers. And so we love sharing all things Google. Our company, Five Star, is also a Google partner, Google Cloud partner. And so one of the things as being part of the professional development team, we love sharing and helping educators find those tips and tricks to be more successful in the classroom. And also we really at our heart, we want to kind of change the way you're experiencing professional development. So hopefully during our time today, you will learn a few things and have some great takeaways to use tomorrow. Okay, so as we're diving into Sheets, I want to let you know as far as like what we're going to be covering. We have it's going to be a little packed, and so get ready. We're going to do a quick overview for you, how to navigate in Google Sheets, kind of get you there and get you started. After that, we are going to be sharing, there's going to be some new vocabulary. Maybe some of you that aren't as familiar with Google Sheets learning some new words today. It might be teaching those words to your students as well. We're going to cover basic formatting tools so that you will know how to do some of these things in Sheets. What's really important, we're going to also show you how to organize your data. That's the whole point of having something in a spreadsheet, is that organization. Also, one of our favorite things, the Explore tool, we want to make sure that you're aware of that. And so you don't have to know how to do everything because you've got this nice built-in tool to help you. We'll end with making sure you know how to share your Sheets creations with others. And buckle up. We're about ready to get started. So Jenna, let's go live to a Google Sheet. Let's get started.
Let's jump right in. And you know what? What better way than to just get into an actual Google Sheet? Now, friends, if you're new to Sheets, here we are. We've made it. I'm going to show you how to get to Google Sheets here in just a little bit. But let's hang out. Just watch my screen for just a moment. And I want to say that Google Sheets is a spreadsheet program that allows users to collaborate and evaluate data. And I know that Sherry had mentioned some of those just a little bit. But we've got a ton of options for what you can do with Sheets. Once again, organizing data, but also sorting numbers, text, dates. We can use charts and graphs to analyze data, and then, of course, publishing and sharing results. Now, Sherry, I'm curious, in what ways have you used Google Sheets as an educator?
I feel like when I was in the classroom, I was always using it, right? As far as like, because it's your backup grade book, as far as like having that where you could have different things. Sometimes I was taking attendance based on things that were turned in, or maybe I was doing some pre-test, post-test, and I want to compare. Did they learn this? Did they not learn this? We're not going to cover this, but I used it a lot attached to forms so that data could come in and then I could sort it from there. So I feel like I don't feel like I'm a Sheets expert, but I feel like it's something that we're using in our classrooms every day, right? So makes it
Yes.
important to learn how to use it better.
And I know that you have a librarian background. And thinking about me as an elementary educator, tracking those reading levels. I use Google Sheets all the time for tracking reading levels, triangulating data with different kinds of scores that I had from tests. So the options are endless in Google Sheets.
Agree.
So as we're kind of looking here, I do want to point out a few common Sheets vocabulary pieces. And so you can see right here on my screen, I've got one box that has a blue line around it. And this is called a cell, one cell. Now, of course, if I click and drag, I've selected several cells, and this would be then a range. If I go ahead and click this A, for example, I could click C, I could click D. These are all going to be, and you can already kind of guess what that's going to be. What do you think it's going to be called?
This one I know, columns. The
Columns.
range I wouldn't have come up with, but I know the cells and I know the columns. So
Yes, yeah. And then, hey, what about this one?
looks like a row to me.
That's a row. So hopefully you find some comfort in a few of these technology or these Google Sheets terms. I do want to point out something else that if you're newer to Sheets, you may not notice or you may not know what this is. But down here, all the way on the bottom, you can see that I have 1, 2 tabs. So we're going to call those tabs, and that's actually where we can have multiple sheets, and we can rename those. So you can see I called this is Google Sheets, and then I can toggle to this other tab, and I can see a different sheet of data. Toggling
That's one of
back.
my favorite parts of it, right? Being able to have more than one sheet within that sheet, because as we talked about using it in the classroom, I don't want to have 17 different ones, right? As far as like I'm working with my firsties and I want to have their pretest score here, their post-test score in the next tab. And then maybe I'm finishing the 9 weeks and I'm moving on to something else. And I've got all that data in one document.
Yes, units, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, all down there.
Yes,
I completely agree.
absolutely.
Yes, yeah. So let's go ahead and we've got some of that terminology down. We'll take a look at some basic formatting tools. Now, before we do that, I do want to make sure that you have a Google Sheet that you can manipulate along with me if you'd like. So I am going to display a link here in just a moment. But before I do that, I wanted to also point out where you can find where you can create your own Google Sheets. So I'm going to do a couple of things right here before we get into basic formatting. So
I'm going to go ahead and put a plug in, Jenna, because as far as like creating and learning more about sharing sheets and things like that, I know a tip you're going to share, but I'm going to say we have another session and it's on Drive. And so what to do as far as like working in Drive and creating from there, watch that one if you haven't had a chance.
Yes, yeah. So a quick little way to create one. I know this is what Sherry was alluding to, but we can type in sheets.new or sheet.new and
Great.
bada bing, bada boom. It creates a new
There it
Google Sheet.
is.
Yeah.
What a shortcut.
Yes, I love this. And if you've never seen this before, you can do this with slides, forms, docs, lots of different things. And as Sherry said, there is a session on Drive. But if you open up Drive, we can also create a new Google Sheet from here. New.
Absolutely.
I know I went through
But
that
I'd
fast.
probably create it inside a folder, right? Because I'd organize it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But it sounds like we need to watch that Drive.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a new Google Sheet open, but you don't have data right here. And if we want to format data, if we want to manipulate that in some way, we want to make sure that you have a sheet that you can work with. So I do have this bit.ly here.
Don't forget Bitly's are case sensitive. So as you're looking at the screen there, make sure that is a capital F, a capital S, another capital S for sample, and one last capital letter for sheet. So FS sample sheet.
Thank you, Sherry.
Give you a chance to open that up. Have it ready in a separate tab and get our data on.
Yeah, and when you get that typed in, friends, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. Make a copy, get it in your Drive, put it in your folder, but click that make a copy and your screen will look something like this.
Beautiful.
Sherry, we've got data, but I'm seeing some things up at the top. I'm noticing that I've got words that are being cut off. And this is all kind of confusing to me. Do you feel like it's a little confusing, a little hard to read?
Not super clear right now. What kind of changes can we make for sure?
Yeah. So, first off, I'm seeing in this row, it kind of seems like these are my headers. So maybe I want to format that to make it bold, perhaps. I do have a few other options. I could change that font style or that size.
I like to
Um,
add a color. You know what I mean? Just so that I know that's kind of that main one. I tend to like go ahead and fill it in so I have that nice color at the top to draw
mhm,
attention to it.
I love it. And notice that I use that fill color to change the background of the cell versus this is going to change that text color. So just wanted to point that out there. And something that I do a lot of times when I see that text is being overrun, I like to click this button right here, text wrapping, wrap it around. So it's all in that cell and it's still, it's all within that one space.
Right, readable. So we need to
Yeah.
do that on that one as well. Yeah, look at that one running
Mhm.
over.
Mhm. Yeah, because that was long.
Jenna, can we go ahead and since it's long, it looks like we've got some responses. Can we stretch that column out, that last one, column E?
Mhm.
There we go.
There we go. Yes. Yeah, just so it's all the one, a similar size. I agree. Yeah, and I could do that. I could also double click so that it makes
Nice.
it that size right there. Double click. There we go.
Ooh, that's a good tip.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I did point out earlier with our tabs, you can see that this says this is Google Sheets and this says sheet one. Thinking if this is, it looks like it's extracurricular activities. So maybe I want to go ahead and rename this sheet down here. I've gone down here and I've clicked, right clicked on that tab. I'm
Always right click for more.
yep. And then extracurriculars. I'll just put that in there really quickly. Can't believe I typed that correctly the very first time.
Very good job. Yeah.
I'm such a bad typer. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. So, Sherry, anything else that you want to add for that basic formatting before we kind of look more into organizing?
I was thinking there was a shortcut, right? As far as like if I wanted, like you did a text wrap just on that one column. Can't I do that for like the whole entire page? Can I like, is it Command A? I think that's the shortcut. Is that right?
Command A,
And then I click the text wrap at the top.
selecting all of that. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And see how it wrapped some of those extra ones that we didn't get down there. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, sometimes I forget what the shortcut is, but I just click right here and then it selects the whole thing too.
Oh,
So,
even better. Google.
so
There's so many ways to do the same thing.
I love Google. The best. All right. Thanks for that reminder, by the way. Forgot about that. All right. Now, noticing this, once again, this first row is going to be my header. I want to make sure that when I'm scrolling, I can see students' responses, but that header is frozen there. Sherry, have you freezed any rows or columns before?
Well, usually I forget to freeze the row and then I sort the data and then I'm like, wait, where did my header go? And then I have to undo and go back and go to, is it view and then freeze it? I think we do these things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We
View.
probably do it two different ways, but I do view and freeze to grab that first row.
Mm-hmm. And that's honestly what I do too. And if we have maybe we wanted to freeze all the way up to this, I could then go to view, freeze, and then up to row 4.
Okay.
So if you wanted to select several, you could do that, but we just need that one.
That's so much better.
I just find so much comfort in a frozen row. I don't know if you feel the same way. Okay. So we've frozen that row. Now I want to sort this column, the last name column from A to Z. Thinking about if I want to really look at my, maybe this is a grade book. I know this is extracurriculars. So maybe I want to sort for students' specific responses. So we'll go ahead and we're going to go to data. And then I want to sort the whole sheet. See. Look at that.
Beautiful. Now we're in alphabetical order. That's the way I like things to be.
Mhm. Oh, I know, me too. Once again, find comfort in that. I'm feeling good about this. Now, say for example, maybe Jim Halpert, he left, he moved. So I could, and I don't need his response anymore. Maybe I wanted to delete that row. I can go ahead and right click and then delete. And I want to point out that if I just selected his responses like this and hit delete or backspace on my keyboard, it just takes that away, but it doesn't delete that row. It's still there. So if
Leave
I
that empty space.
so if I right click, delete row, it's completely gone.
Good tip.
Yeah. And then we'll actually put Jim back in there. He didn't actually leave.
We might need his response later.
Yeah. Same thing with your columns. You can delete. We can also insert. So if we wanted to insert a column, we'll go ahead and right click on this column space, and I can insert one to the left or one to the right.
Jenna, also as far as like maybe we decide that we want to have the responses in a different place, we can move our columns as well, right? Can't I just actually click and drag? And oh, yes. Love that. I can see that hand grabbing it and moving it over.
Oops. Yes. Oh, I love it so much. There we go. Now I'm messing up. Got to just select one. There we go. So then yeah, if I need to move that class level, need to just select one, drag over. Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Yes, I agree. So that's kind of organizing in a quick nutshell. I'm going to delete this really quickly. So delete column.
And so I've seen you do this several times. Again, every time you want to do something different or something more in this sheet, you are right clicking. Right clicking is bringing up all kinds of things, a new menu for you to choose from. So for those deleting rows, adding rows, doing really good stuff.
And I'm right clicking on several different spaces. This column header, a cell in these tabs, they are all giving me different options too.
Different menus, yes.
Yeah. All right, Sherry, I'm going to be real honest though, because I know I love Google Sheets. I'm drinking the Google Kool-Aid, but a lot of times I don't exactly know what I'm doing in Google Sheets. Do you kind of feel the same way?
I said in the beginning, I am not a Sheets expert. I know just enough to be dangerous, but sometimes I don't remember how to do something. And so I know you're going to show us the best place to look for some of those tips.
Yeah. So think back like several years ago, Clippy and Microsoft Word. What did Clippy do? He helped us answer questions that we had that we weren't sure how to accomplish in Microsoft. This Explore tool in the bottom right-hand corner serves a very similar purpose in Google Sheets. So I'm going to go ahead and click Open Explore. And I want to point out that there are lots of different things that the Explore tool can do for me. I can format even further my cells. I can pull in pivot tables. I know we talked about graphs and charts earlier, so I can see some of those. Now, it's looking for all of my data. I actually haven't selected any cells for it to check out. So maybe if I wanted to just look at the data in column C, I want you to notice that now this comes up. Maybe if I click column B. Now it's all going to be the same count because I have the same number of rows that are filled in. But think about if I wanted to maybe count, we'll actually do extracurriculars. I want to count if it's basketball. So I've selected this range. And once again, I want to know how many times basketball comes up, but I don't know how to do that in Google Sheets. I'm in the Explore tool.
It's going to help us along. Hold our hand.
Thanks, Google. I'm going to click Ask about this data. And I'm going to say count if basketball. I'm hitting enter. Basketball appears 5 times. And I can click See Formula, and it's even teaching me. Look at this.
Goodness. That's that formula I'm never going to remember, because where does the parentheses go? Exactly where do the brackets go? But Explore did it for me. And yes, I should take that and learn from it.
And then I can click and drag that in. Of course, now here we go. And then it says 5. And then if I go ahead and click on that cell, I look up here in this function box and it gives me that right there. I
So
love that so much.
instead of me looking at it and trying to duplicate it and type it, I love that. Jenna, you grabbed it and you dropped it in there. Okay, that's new to me. Thank you for showing me that. I did not know I could drag out of the Explore tool and put it into my sheet.
Yes, yes, you're welcome. Yes. And then a lot of times, not a lot of times, several times, I will kind of click through, select different ranges and or groups of cells, and then I might come over here and see count of student first name. It then pulls in a pivot table for me. So Explore is a tool for us to analyze our data, but also is teaching us so we can look at different things. And some of these formulas that it gives me, I am blown away. So
I think it keeps it from being so intimidating, right? As far as like, I don't have to know exactly how to type these. Like I said, as far as like, it's like Google's like, I got your back, right? As far as like, we're here, let us help
mhm,
you. And like you said, I get to learn how to do that, because when you start talking about functions and making the data do things, a lot of us tend to back up. We're like, that's not my lane. I don't really know how to do that. But with this, I can.
yes, yes, ditto. Thank you, Explore. Where would we be without it? Explore is Google Sheets. It's your friend. So down there in the
Use it.
bottom right-hand corner, use it. Yes. Now, the last thing that we're going to cover is going to be sharing. And I briefly want to put a voice to who we'd be sharing with. Now, Sherry, when you're sharing with your students, is it best practice to click the share button and share to each of them?
No, I don't think so, because that's going to be time consuming, right? I'm going to have to type in all their email addresses.
Yeah, individually. Either that, so I click that share button. I'd have to type in each of their individual email addresses, or I could get a link, but then I would have to either have it be for my domain or
Which would be your
anyone with the
school,
link.
right?
Yep. Or anyone with the link would then be able to view, or I could give them different access. Probably for our students, or several times with anyone with this link, we'd probably just want them to be viewers. But for students, just drop that into your learning management system, Google Classroom,
Exactly.
Canvas. That's going to be how you're going to share with your students. But when you're sharing with colleagues or parents, this is going to be where the money is. So sharing individually, maybe I want to give Sherry just viewing access and I want to notify her. Could hit send. But once again, also that link option right there.
I love that differentiation as far as like thinking about the sharing. So I love that, like for my colleagues, maybe for parents to do it that way, but definitely learning management system, because that's going to allow us to pass a copy out to everyone if we want to. Does the work for us. So good
And
point.
and I just love working smarter, not harder, because time is limited and that's what we need to do.
Agreed.
Um,
Okay. So lots of, I feel like we've gone through a lot in a short amount of time, right? As far as like, so we know how to create a brand new sheet. We can start from Drive, or we can just go to sheets.new to get us a brand new beautiful one. Jenna, you showed us the tabs at the bottom, which are actually more than one sheet. How do I get another one? What do I click to do that?
Well, Sherry, whenever we want to add anything, we're going to
Oh,
click that plus sign. You can
okay. I'm not sure if we told them that. And again, I love multiple sheets within
Mhm,
a sheet, being able to do that instead of a brand
mhm,
new document. So
mhm. Yeah. And I didn't say that, so I'm glad that you brought that up. And you can tell I'm an elementary school teacher with all my hand gestures. Adding those new sheets down here, adding those new tabs down there.
And if you get lots of sheets, that little squishy, those lines that are right beside of there will tell you what sheets you actually have and how they're named, because If you're like me, that you might begin to scroll. You have so many different sheets or tabs within your sheet. And so that way you can actually see and get to them more easily. We can rename them, do all that great stuff. Hopefully you might have learned some new words today. We did some vocabulary. We did cell, row, range, column. Ooh, what else? Cell. I started with cell. This visual, if you're like, give me a visual on screen.
I know.
I think that's all the vocabulary. Yeah. The
Mhm.
Explore tool is, I feel like, really the money here. Like, as far as anything that you need help with analyzing your data, getting started with that, click that Explore tool. Again, get those insights instantly, utilize that, learn from it, let it do the work for you.
Mhm.
Share wisely, right? As far as like Jenna said, work smarter, not harder. Check your sharing setting, because if you've created this beautiful sheet, you may not want people editing it. Maybe you only want that comment or view. So just like with any of our Google things that we share, we want to make sure that we are checking those settings.
Mhm. I just wanna say one more thing. I never click this, and I need
Oh,
to click this. So I'm really glad that you pointed that out because I'm just like, "Oh, it's another button."
it's one of my favorites. So again, with Google, there's lots of different ways to do different things. And I feel like every time we're together, I learn something different. So
Mhm.
thanks, Jenna.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think we're, yeah.
and I just want to say thank you, Sherry, and everyone for, hanging out with us. This was so much fun, like, seriously.
So again, you have that bit.ly as far as for some data that you can dive into and play with, make your own. It's been a pleasure seeing you and working with everybody today. So we are from 5 Star, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.